There was also big news, of course, on the other side of the country with the Knicks getting Karl Anthony-Towns and Michelle Bridges. This was big-time news out in New York. What does this do? Look, this team had such a run. They're sort of that feel-good team. But now I think the expectations might be a bit higher, Lou. Does the addition of these two do anything for you as far as contenders?
It gives the East a new look, I'll tell you that much. I still like Boston as the front runner. I'll say that on the first show. I still believe in what Boston's been able to accomplish, being a championship team, coming back. And you've never seen a championship team come back more pissed off after winning the championship. So I still think they're the top dogs. But, man, adding Karl Anthony-Towns and adding Michelle Bridges to that group, that puts the Knicks in a very great position to be top contenders coming out of the East to battle with those guys.
Still looks weird.
I think on paper this team is scary. I mean, you can't discredit again the Celtics. They are the champs till knocked off. You know what I mean? So they have an unbelievable starting five. And who knows who the Knicks actually start? Are they going to start, Brunson, Hart, OG, Bridges, and Towns? Are they going to bring a Hart off the bench? We're going to see their rotations and what they do, but. On paper, this fits. On paper, this looks better as an offensive fit with Towns than Julius Randle. Julius Randle was great. He had a hell of a stint there. People like to shit on him for whatever reason. He had a great stint there. He's an all-star. He kind of brought the excitement back to the Knicks. And then Jalen Brunson's kind of even put that on steroids. But Towns, the way he plays, picks and pops, shoots threes, spaces the floor, I think offensively that is going to be a much better fit. And then to have those two guys, OG and Michelle Bridges on the wing defensively with their length and their versatility, they are tough. Now, they got a lot better this year. The depth is my only concern.
Yeah, I was going to ask you that, and we'll get back to Bridges and Towns, is the idea of Julius Randle being gone. Personally, I think Hartenstein being gone is a big deal for them height-wise. And the spirit of Donte DiVincenzo, who we saw, if you guys watched any of that preseason game last night, he was talking, and I was here for it.
Well, we didn't watch any preseason basketball.
Yeah. How dare you?
But obviously we got the news, and it was interesting to see the little mix-up. And it's a lot of emotion still running high. Obviously that's somewhere that he wanted to be, and he was he was a part of that culture. And so, this makes for a good home and home with the Minnesota Timberwolves and the New York Knicks when they see each other in the regular season.
And you hear the rumors that he wasn't on board with the whole Villanova,
How could you not be?
and he because it's interesting. Just because you played college with somebody doesn't mean you have to be friends with them and stay close to them through your NBA career. This just kind of answers all my questions I had about that, whether that was true or not. Obviously, there's some sort of animosity here.
But it's just with Rick Brunson. It's not with anyone.
Yeah, you see him do the GQ things in the podcast with the boys. So I don't think there's any beef there. Now, again,
what's that about?
When you get traded, you move. You do slightly feel a little slated. Like Klay Thompson feels a certain way about going back to Golden State. He's going to feel a certain way.
And you always feel like there's somebody responsible for that.
And is it Rick Brunson?
So this opens up the floodgates for people to say, well, when he's over there yelling, this is what happens when they let you run the show. Yeah. And you're going back and forth with Rick Brunson. This is interesting.
But then he's chirping at Tibbs, too, saying he can't finish. So there's definitely, obviously, things happen in his Knicks career where he hasn't gotten over yet. Now,
he's such a fan favorite. And I say this just being like sort of addicted to Knicks Twitter and all that. The Julius Randle leaving was like, okay, it almost felt like that was sort of inevitable. Donte DiVincenzo leaving seemed to hurt Knicks fans much more.
And I can argue that losing DiVincenzo and Hartenstein hurts them more than Julius Randle, for sure, because that gives, again, the depth, the size, the playmaking, and the pick and roll that Hartenstein would do. Now with Mitchell Robinson, his health, he's always kind of banged up, so that is a huge hole for them. And then again, offensively, when you plug in Karl Anthony-Towns, who's a self-proclaimed greatest big shooter of all time. He's going to have so much opportunity with the way Jalen Brunson gets downhill, the way those guys can space the floor on the wings and get out in transition. Towns is going to have a lot of wide open looks. He's going to have space to create. So I do think offensively this team looks better. And defensively, it's hard to say they got worse when they have OG and Bridges. Bridges is probably the top three best two-way player in the NBA. They don't make him like him anymore. So Bridges,
and he's so happy to be there.
Bridges, he's not gonna complain about shots. He's not gonna go and take bad shots. He plays within the offense. Michelle Bridges is an absolute stud. So I think adding him is even more important than adding Towns. But losing DiVincenzo and Hartenstein, there is a depth hole there. Where look at their bench. They have Deuce McBride, Precious.
They got
like T.J. Warren. So we're gonna have to see who kind of develops in that
some good pieces.
7th, 8th man.
If you can get some good minutes out of
Deuce had some.
Listen,
he had huge playoffs.
Deuce McBride, huge run. And if you can get T.J. Warren to be healthy and be a glimpse of himself, that answers your depth right there.
Is this still Jalen Brunson's team? I mean, who else
Absolutely.
would it be?
What Jalen Brunson did last year, reviving that whole city and MSG and the Knicks,
pay cut?
he gave them hope. He gave them excitement.
Is that a pay cut?
Well, technically it wasn't a pay cut, but
Technically.
Anything over 100 in.
that one, he was like, I'm not going to take
Give or
max, I
take,
take
go
like
ahead,
$1 million
yeah.
less.
Look, I know about pay cuts, and that is a pay cut. If I ever saw one, that is a big
see,
one.
I'm not a big pay cut guy.
I hate you so much. Despise Chandler so much.
It's not really my thing.
Yeah, we know.
But no, this is Jalen Brunson's team. I don't care how good Towns is, how good Bridges is. This what he did last year has gave him so much. They gave him wiggle room to kind of take a foot off the gas if he has to this year. Like
Nice.
It does not matter. He runs New York. He runs MSG. This is Jalen Brunson's team.
It's going to be fun. The health thing, that's every team in the league's issue.